This is the Gita class, chapter 15, and then the sloka is number 8. Purushottama Prapti Yoga, 8.1. So we'll do the Mangalachana prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjala Salakaya Chakshar Unmilitam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padagamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savabhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanostate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarabhyascha Krupa Sindhobhya Vichapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Shankara Jai Jai Shankara Krishna Bhavani Prabhupada Jai. Okay, this is the 8th sloka, chapter 15. Shariram yadavapnoti ichchapyutkramatishvarah gruhitvaitāni samyati vayurgandhani vāshayāt. Shariram yadavapnoti ichchapyutkramatishvarah gruhitvaitāni samyati vayurgandhani vāshayāt. Shariram yadavapnoti ichchapyutkramatishvarah gruhitvaitāni samyati vayurgandhani vāshayāt. Shariram the body, yat as, avapnoti gets, yat as, cha api also, utkramati gives up, Ishvaraha the Lord of the body, grihitva taking, etani all these, samyati goes away, vayu the air, gandhan smells, iva like ashayat from their source. Translation. The living entity in the middle world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. This is what the process of transmigration from one life to another life. A lot of people say YOLO, you only have one life, right? YOLO, YOLO, you only have one life. You only live. Yeah. You only live once. Something like that. But those are all wrong. Those are all the creations invented by the business people or some junk people. Whereas Shastras always talks about that we have the life after life after life. That is why you have to be very careful, and whatever you work to in this life, that is carries to the next life. And the purport, let's see the purport. Here the living entity is described as Ishvara, the controller of his own body. Ishvara, okay? Shariram yadavapnati uchchapyutkramati Ishvara gruhitvaitani samyati vayurgandhani vāshayat. So, controller of his own body. If he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade, and if he likes, he can move to a lower class. Minute independence is there. The change this body undergoes depends upon him. At the time of death, the change his body undergoes depends upon him. At the time of death, the consciousness he has created will carry him on to the next type of body. If he has made his consciousness like that of a cat or dog, he is sure to change to a cat or dog's body. And if he has fixed his consciousness on godly qualities, he will change into the form of a demigod. And if he is in the Krishna consciousness, he will be transferred to the Krishna Loka in the spiritual world and will associate with the Krishna. It is a false claim that after the annihilation of this body, everything is finished. The individual soul is transmigrating from one body to another, and his present body and present activities are the background of his next body. One gets a different body according to karma, and he has to quit this body in due course of time. It is stated here that the subtle body which carries the conceptions of the next body develops another body in the next life. This process of transmigrating from one body to another and struggling while in the body is called karshati, or struggle for existence. So this is the very important stuff. So if you really see the Krishna Loka, or the Krishna consciousness, it's like depends on what your consciousness is developed. Okay, If it is, you are always thinking about Krishna in reality and the personal form, because the only thing, when you are embodied, you can think of the personal forms. At the same time, no need to comment on the other demigods or other stuff or other margas. If you really focus on one god upasana, and all the time if you are totally focused on everything, then what happens is your subtle body will be cleaned. What is the subtle body is, again it says like manashashtani indriyani. In the previous sloka says like 6 indriyas. These 6 indriyas are the cause. So it's almost like we, the individual Jivatma, so long as we are with the condition, and when we are realized our true nature, at that time we don't know what happens to our entire spiritual nature is. So, but for now, we are entangled because of the ajnana, ignorance. So, all we need is to jnana to get our true nature. So, for that one, Bhagavan is explaining in this chapter. If you really see the beginning of this chapter, right? So, first he says like, first 3 slokas he explained about the material world, and he compared with the Ashwadha Vriksha, and then how we are entangled with all these twigs and then gunas and then karmas and all that. And he says like karmanubandhini manushlokya. Then he also explains the solution for that is detachment from this ragadveshas, jita sangha dosha. That's what, when you are detached, then what happens at that time, you will reach the paramdhama, where you don't need to come back again. Then for that again, the qualities also he mentioned, those who are free from the false prestige, illusion, and false association, and who understand the eternal, who are done with the material lust, who are free from the dualities of happiness and disease. These are like some of the qualities mentioned. Before also so many qualities mentioned. This is also qualities mentioned. It's all same. Whether you watch which marga you follow, the quality is same. And then after that, he explained more about the Parandhama. How this Parandhama is like, not illuminated by all the stuff. Then again he says our position, why we are entangled here. And he says like, due to conditioned life, we are entangled, struggling with the 6 senses. And in this sloka, he explains that how we are transformating from one life to another life. And he says like, what is that? The process of transmigrating one body to another and struggling while in the body is called karshati, or struggle for existence. So in the Sankhya Yoga metaphor, in the Sankhya Yoga, Krishna explained that how even in the Karma Yoga also, like the Atma, Jivatma does not do anything, everything is done by the Prakriti. You can imagine like it's like a blind man walking, and he's the only one. He can't see, but he can do all the stuff, all the work. And then one who has eyes but who doesn't have the legs, that's a kind of like he sits on this guy, and then he directs, and then this guy goes. That is how it is. The Jivatma is the one, it's directing, and then all the Prakriti is arranging accordingly what we want is. So that's what Bhagavan is explaining here. So here the body, so that's why there is a death and life of the subtle body only. So subtle body transformation mind, it's so subtle, and it's made from the tanmatras, the panchabhutas, the pure panchabhutas. So, and then the mind and the 6 senses are there, the energy, and then it keeps on, the subtle body keeps on changing every minute. The mind is flickering, all the indriyas are flickering. So every time is changing, means there is a life and death and all that. Based on that only the gross body is developing. So if the subtle mind likes to eat only the sattvic food, then the body will be sattvic. Otherwise the body will be rajasic and then tamasic. So that's exactly the gross body we are seeing is actually the reflection of the subtle body. What are we are thinking and what are we want to do it, that's how the body is developing. For example, you are lazy, and if you are sitting all the time, you are in the tamogun, what happens? Your body will become lazy. It doesn't, then the same thing, rajogun and then the sattvagun. So that's why Acharya says that you just keep your body fit, at the same time subtle body also with the japas and everything, controlling the indriyas and then straightening the indriyas, everything you clean up and then you do it. That's what it is. So It's from when the death happens, what happens? The gross body is stopped, and the subtle body, it transfers from this body to another body next life by the supervision of the Supreme Power, Bhagavan, and then based on the our subtle nature, we will get the next body. That's why he will say like Antakale Chamameva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. So basically Antakale, when you are at the end, if you think about me, then you are going to get me. So it's like a big test. So again, every minute also, what are we thinking? That is again a test for us. So that is what it is changing from this. And here in the Prabhupada, he explains that, if your consciousness is like a cat and dog, you're going to get the cat and dog body. What is the consciousness means? The awareness. What are your interests? What are you thinking about that? If you are a body consciousness, but you want to be a sattvic body, then you will get the demigod body. So it's all free, but it's all your choice. So that's why even Vijaya Prakashananda Swami also says that nothing will come with you except this subtle body. And subtle body is the main thing. That's why all our in all our life, what we should be doing is we should be cleaning up this subtle body, and then we'll be having the highest goals, manasa, and then buddhi, and then chitta, hankaras, and all the indriyas. You clean up this all the time, and you be with the sattvic gun, sattva gun. Then what happens? Your next life, that is what it is going to help you. That is why all these qualities are given to implement by the subtle body only. Because for the Atmans, we don't need, we are Satchitananda, already eternal, we don't need to do anything. This gross body is anyway gross. There is nothing, it won't do anything. In the mid between is the mind, is the one where the consciousness first falls on the buddhi. That is where only the buddhi only, because he says like the sun is everywhere, sun rays are everywhere, but it reflected only on the mirror. That is how the buddhi is the only one which reflects our consciousness. Based on that, all the other the objects will be illuminated by the consciousness. So that is what it is. So that's why our main job is to all the time clean up this consciousness, and then have this, whatever in the Bhagavad Gita explained, Krishna explained, whatever we want to be, but try to practice like that. So Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Raja Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, everything. All the yoga means connection. Always connect with Bhagavan. Always think about it. So many times I explained, like Yat karoshi dashnasya juhosi dasyat yat tapashyasi kaunteya tat kurshamadarpan. Whatever you do, everything, just give everything arpana to me, surrender to me, or give it to me. That's what he says. Because, and Prabhupada also sometimes says like, nothing belongs to you, then there is no question of giving it. Bhagavan is the one who owns everything. So what is the point in giving that? That is the main thing. So, and Shankaracharya in the Vivek Chudamani explains that subtle body is like so huge, like compared to the gross body. Gross body is nothing but blood, mucus, and all that stuff. Whereas if you see the subtle body, the Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Manobuddhi Chitta Hankaras, all these constitute the subtle body. So how we will be cleaning that? As per the Bhakti Yoga, the Prishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So all the Sarvopadi Vinamuktam, all the upadhis, all the upadhis you employ in the service of the Bhagavan. That's where you purify the upadhis. That is what is the bhaktis. And even the Uttama Bhakti is Anya Vilashita Shonyam Jnana Karmana Vratam Anukulena Krishnanu Sheelanam Bhakti Uttade. Anya Vilashita, don't expect anything, don't desire anything. So that is what for the bhakti is that one. That is the real bhakti. Even the Hare Krishna Mahamantra also the other day, the meaning we discussed about that, and the main thing is you are not expecting anything for the body related. It's all spiritual. The soul is hankering for Bhagavan's law. That is what we'll be aiming for that. So again, if you really say even Jagat Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, if you really say, that is like ultimate Advaita level, and in Advaita level all you see is the Brahman only. It's like almost like a Rajasapa Bhranti. The rope is there, but you are thinking it's a it's a snake. But the moment torchlight is there, then you don't see you see the rope, and then all the bhaya and everything is gone, and the question is where the snake is gone. Actually, in them there is no snake, but snake bhavana came because of the rope only. So that is how so many explains that the Brahman is there, Bhagavan, and then the Parmeti Paramatmati Bhagavan Shabde. That is the only thing which is true. Everything else is false. That's why our main job is to think about the real, and then only realize your true nature, and then leave everything the unreal stuff. For example, in the dreams, you will have so many things that happen in the dream prapancha, in the dream world. The moment you wake up, everything is gone. Even if you remember, also you just have laugh. Even if you are a scary dream or good dream or bad dream, everything is by the mental concoction. So that again is a measurement of your mind mental status. That is how the that. So again, this cleaning process is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, in the Sishtashtakam also, Marjanam, they will say. So it's like a continuous process, and then you will be doing the continuously every minute the cleaning. So how you will be cleaning is all the indriyas. So for seeing, you just see only the good stuff, Bhagavan stuff, nature, and all that high level stuff. And you hear only the shastras. Then after you smell only the ones which are offered to the Bhagavan, and then you eat only the prasadam, so that the sattvic ahara, so that it will clean up the body and everything. Then you touch the devotees of the Lord and all that stuff mentioned in the as per the bhakti marga. Then the mind, to clean up the mind will be controlled only with the abhyasa and vairagya. Say mind and buddhi. So mind is for the abhyasa. All the indriyas and the mind, they can be controlled through abhyasa. So every day, if you are doing at the certain same time, if you are chanting, if you are doing puja, if you are doing that, then the mind itself will remind you even if you forget it. So that is how mind can be cleaned, and the buddhi can be cleaned only with the vairagya, with the spiritual knowledge. What is, who are we, who am I, and all that, because that is close to the consciousness, our consciousness, and then observing the mind all the time. That is again another spiritual practice. And then chitta, ahankara. And the chitta, how you clean is you just store only the good stuff, and then you remove the bad stuff from the storage. That is what the chitta. And then ahankara, you always think about who am I. So remove the false ego. That's what even the sloka before mentioned, right? Nirmana moha, jita sangadosha, adhyatma nitya, nirmana moha, jita sangadosha. So mana again, false prestige. And then moha means illusion. Again, the formula is avidya, kama, karma. Because of the illusion, desire came, and because of the desire, and then the activities are came, karma came. So that's what again, have the desire only to get the Bhagavan's mercy, or get your Swarupa, Swaswarupa Anusandhanam, the realization of our own true nature. Then that desire is the one which is not creating more desires. It is the one which is cutting the desires of the material desires. For example, if you have one material desire, it will add and then follow so many other desires, and it will keep on adding the other desires. Whereas if you have this desire of not to have a desire, that is the good desire we need to desire. So that's what but again, as I said before also, the vasanas are so strong, and then it will haunt you. That's why keep on observing our own stuff, our own indriyas, our own mind, and then try to clean up with that. So what is the benefit of that? So that benefit is you are going to get the higher life, and you are going to remove from this you are going to be removed from this material life, samsara, of birth and death cycle, where it's only the dukkhalayam only. It's not no sukham there. Everything is dukkham. And then with this, then after that you will attain the highest bliss, Satchitananda Rupa. So dukkhalayam yehi samsparshaja bhogaha dukkhayanevate adyantavanta kaunteya unateshram devadaha. So Bhagavan says in the 5th chapter that even the samsparsha bhoga, all the indriyas, when they are touching the objects, the ultimate result is the dukkhalayam only. you won't get the happiness. Even if you have temporary happiness, still at one point in time you have to leave that thing. Either you have to leave the object or the object will be lost. That is what the higher result. And also the happiness you get from the objects is like only the flickering happiness, whereas the happiness we have is the unlimited happiness. That's why you don't go into the indriya bhogas. Everywhere Bhagavan is saying the same thing. Even in Dasthita Prajna Pakshana also, Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan. Everything, just don't desire anything. Because why we don't desire is we don't need to, because we are already Purna. We are already Purnamada Purnamidam, so always full. That means eternal Satchita Ananda Swarupas. So that is how, if you really see, we are struggling with the indriyas, our own indriyas. So no one is bothering us. Based on the karmas, everybody, the surrounding, the environment is created for that. So enjoy or suffer. So if you understand this properly, and if you analyze ourselves and then try to overcome our own mind, because and then uddhare atmanatmanam atmanamo sadhe atmaya vyatmano bandhu atmaya ripuratmanaha. Our mind is the only friend and our mind is only the shatru or the enemy. So that's why you need to clean up your mind. That is our own job to do that. That's what here also Bhagavan says in that. So once you clean that, then and then you know what that then you will get the realization, the nirvana thing. So, and then Bhagavan explained here like Vayu Gandha Nivashayat. Example he was given. So the Vayu, the air is passing. When the air is passing on this like jasmine flower, the area, so many flowers, let's say, that vasana, and then the smell is come and touches our nose. It's like a good smell. And when it passes through the stool or the dead bodies, then the bad smell will come and touch it out of our nose. So basically, what is the problem? The Vayu, the air is not the problem. The air, there is no issue with the air, only issue with the matter. That is why it is saying like the Jivatma is carrying this subtle body, and then if the subtle body is good, and then good vasanas, then you will have the good body next life, and then eventually you will be elevated, and then you will be realize your true nature. If it is a bad, then you're going to get the bad bodies, bad stuff, and then after that what happens? You go down and down and down. So if you really analyze it, so basically what is that? Having the desire itself is a papa, like a sin, as explained in the 3rd chapter. Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajoguna Samudbhava, Mahashana, Mahapapma, Vidyane Mehaverinam. So not having the desire itself is a punya. That is for this Loka Kalyanadham or Mamupata Durteksha Dwara. So all those stuff. So Durteksha Dwara, so to elevate ourselves or to, and also in the 12th chapter Bhagavan explained like what are the qualities he likes it, Adveshta, Sarabhota, Anam, and all those ones. So those are the ones which are real qualities we need to develop, and then so that eventually will be elevated. That for that one you need to have the Viveka, Vairagya, again Shamadama, Shat Sampatti, and then Mokshatvam. So all those ones also explained in the Acharya. So many ways they explained each and everywhere. So our the purpose of our life is also mentioned in the Vivek Chudamani Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham Ataf Param. We discussed about that. Basically, that realizing our true nature, and then that is what should be our aim of the life. And even here also in our life, this one is to clean up the subtle body, aiming for the high, praying for the Bhagavan, Bhakti, Jnana, and all those ones. Those are the real highest steps. Purpose of highest for the purpose of the life, not like bhogging, accumulating the money and accumulating the wealth and everything. You are not going to get anything out of that. And also more and more, that's why try not to commit sin, that try to be like a good citizen, and then also have these thoughts, zero desires, and then whatever is happening because of the Bhagavan's mercy. And then after that you will be just taking and leading this life, and then for the higher purpose, and then eventually you clean up the mind with the Bhakti Marga, Jnana Marga, whatever Marga you choose it. So I like, what I like is like chanting the Bhagavan's name. We have the Japa is there, we have the Kirtan is there, and then every time try to remind ourselves that we are that, and then the Upanishad Vakyas are there. Aham Brahmasmi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma. What is that? Tattvamasi. So all those Mahavakyas are the pointers to our own true nature. And then all the time we need to observe ourselves, and whatever we do, then do for that Machitta the prana, and then Yat Krosha Dasnasi, or anything, whatever you Ananya Chintayanto Mama, always think about the Bhagavan. So many goals are mentioned in the Gita itself. And Ashochanam Ashocastam, don't cry for that anything. Katasana Katasomsha Nanushochinta Pandita, and everywhere Bhagavan says don't waste the time, and then try to work for the highest stuff, try to work for the goal, and try to acquire the qualities, and then so that you will be elevated. So this should be our goal. So basically, if you really see, the pressures or everything is happening in the world because of the desire only. A simple example in the Bhagavatam, 11th canto, Bhagavan says to Uddhava that there is one bird, trying to have this meat, and then with the mouth it hangs, and then the bird is flying, thinking that it can enjoy the meat. Then all the rest of the birds were chasing that bird because of the particular meat. Then the bird immediately tried running, and after that realizes that because of this meat only I am having problems. So what it does is it just left this meat, asanga shastrena kind of thing. Then the moment it leaves the meat is falling, and then all the birds were behind that and left this bird alone. And then this bird has got the peace. That is what so many stories are mentioned in the Shastras, that how you get the peace of mind. That is very, very important. So, and also that's why desire less is the main thing. That is what we should aim for, and also accept that whatever happening is like a prasada bhavana, and then real having the actually understand our true nature is a Brahman, and then Atma Satchitananda, eternal, and then Chit, and then Ananda is blissfulness. So when we are eternal with all the consciousness, full of knowledge, and then eternal, and then Ananda, if you really see, by not knowing this, but everybody is working towards this. Everybody want to live forever, and everybody want to have the full knowledge of whatever they are doing it, and to enjoy, because for enjoyment also you need the knowledge. Without that you won't be enjoying that. And after that, the bliss, ultimate happiness, everybody is craving for that, and which is already our own true nature. We don't need to do anything. The only thing is disturbing us. Our true nature is the mind and the indriyas. The mind is the more desires are there, the mind flickering is more. That's why when you are chanting, if you are not focusing, if you can't able to focus on the Lord's name, means you have so many desires. So that's why cut the desires first. Mind should be calm and quiet. Then you can employ the mind and the indriyas on the service of the Bhagavan. That is called the Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. That's what the Narada Mahamani explains, that the bhakti is that. For that, whatever you have to do it, you have to take measurements. In the society also, you need to maybe cut down the other activities, maybe take a light job, and then be satisfied with whatever the money you have, and then don't have the debts or anything. Just have a simple life, and then live lightly. And after that, whatever you are doing it, and then just have the desires so low, and then like a simple living, and then high thinking, and think always about the Bhagavan, think always about the scriptures, which is Upanishads and all that, which is like a highest power of knowledge is there, highest source of knowledge is there, and from there you get your buddhi will be elevated. Vishala buddhi will be done only through the spiritual knowledge only. So as far as that, have the Guru, and then Krishna or the Bhagavan, and then keep on path, and then you can always take other paths too, which are helpful in this progress, and then keep on working hard, always work towards that, and then finally you can able to achieve that. Okay, that is what the thoughts on this sloka. Okay, well, I'm up here. Krishna Bhagavan.